Let's welcome Top 10 to the stage. Top 10, are you there? Awesome, yeah!
Hi guys, I'm Tom, this is Harry, and we're two of the co-founders of Top10.co. So we're here today to talk to you about the power of top 10 lists. Lists have been ingrained in our culture for thousands of years. Here's our friend Moses being handed the first ever top 10.
PowerPoint in the history. 2 slides, 5 bullets each. We invented it.
Okay, so
Kissinger, please, you're setting our people back 50 years with this.
okay, so let's fast forward to today. Lists on the web are massive. List-based content is some of the most shared stuff you'll see. Go on Dig or Reddit and you'll see just how popular these things are. Why is that? We think it's because they're really quick to read, easy to digest, and people love to debate them. So our idea is to take the concept of top 10 lists and use that to create a really powerful platform for social recommendation. So let's take a look. This is Top10.co, and it's the top 10 of everything created by everyone. It's a place where anyone can come and make a top 10 list about anything they love and share that with the world. Friends and followers can come and remix that list or create their own, and then we amalgamate all of that data into global rankings that we call master lists. So we've created thousands of top 10 lists for our launch, and since we've come all the way from rainy London to sunny California, let's check out some local beaches. So Harry's doing a search here for beaches, and it's going to pull up all the search results for lists we've got on that topic. Let's go straight in and look at top 10 beaches in California. So here's a list created by Elaine, and she's made her favorite top 10 beaches in California. You can see as you scroll down, we've got really nice high-quality images, nice descriptions. We've put a lot of time making this into a really nice thing to read. Right at the top, we've also made it easy to share it to Facebook or Twitter. Okay, so let's go ahead and make our own list. Now, Harry and I are both big rock music fans, so let's make our top 10 guitarists of all time. So as Harry's typing there, we get some nice tool tips to help him along the way. And let's go straight in and do our first item. And I'm going to go for Slash, big Guns N' Roses fan. So as soon as Harry types that in, it goes out to the web and retrieves an image of Slash. We can also write a nice description, add in a link. But we may not like that image. We may want to find another one. So we just click that. Brings up a really nice image browser. We can choose the one we like. And then we've got this cool crop tool, so we can make it look exactly how we want. And then one click, and it's published to the list. Okay, let's do the next one. How about you guys? Have you got any ideas for best guitarists of all time? Hendrix. I'm going with Hendrix. Okay. Hendrix is awesome. Okay, so again, the image goes out, and you can see really quickly we're starting to make a list that we can make our own and be proud of. And we can then publish that and share it on Facebook. So let's jump to one that I made earlier. Now, I'm a massive fan of action movies, and this is my top 10 action movies of the 1980s. I'm leading with Rocky IV, an awesome film where Stallone helps stop the Cold War. And then we've got, Predator, we've got The Running Man.
Hey, Tom, wait a minute.
What are you doing?
Where's the Terminator?
Harry, what the hell are you doing, man? This is like the most important presentation we've ever done.
When we rehearsed this, we had the Terminator in here. It's awesome.
Okay, well, you make your own list then.
Okay, I'm going to make my own. Okay, guys, so you can see what's happening here. Tom's made his list. It's cool. It's got all his favorite films in it. But as soon as I read that, I want to go and make my own list. So to enable that, we've made a really cool feature called Remix. With one click, I can turn Tom's list into remix mode. And I'm able to move stuff around, take things out, and add new things in. So let's get started. I'm not a big Stallone fan, I'm afraid, so Rocky, it's gone. Let's take out Rambo, too. Cool. And I can move stuff around, so I really like Aliens, so I want to bump that up and put it up above RoboCop. We also made a really nice drag and drop interface, so I can bring the Running Man from way down the bottom of the list up to the top. And finally, I can add new stuff in. So let's get the Terminator in there. Who's with me? Who likes the Terminator? All right, cool. And just like before, it's going to go live to the web, and there's a really cool pic of the Governator. So I can click and publish that, and within just a few seconds, I've made my own version of Tom's list. So this is pretty cool. I've got my list, we've got Tom's list, and we've also got some lists that some of our buddies have made on the same subject. But what would be even cooler is if we could somehow take all of these opinions and ideas and amalgamate them into one global ranking. This is the most powerful feature of Top 10, and we call it master lists. This is what a master list looks like. It's kind of like a top 10, but you can see along the top there, we've got all the different contributors, and based on their votes and how they've ranked stuff, Predator is coming out as the #1 action film of the 80s. We think this is pretty nice. We'd like to invite all you guys down to the demo pit, and let's all remix action movies and see what we come out with. But what's even bigger than this? Our vision for Top 10 is millions of people all around the world creating hundreds of thousands of master lists on every subject under the sun. That is top10.co. I hope you like it.
Okay. Aaron, you're a design guy. Looked like a pretty well-designed product. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's a brilliantly designed product. You know, the biggest challenge with something like this is content entry. That's the biggest barrier to get people to participate. So making that easy is great. I mean, it's attractive. It's easy to, small view you have on the side makes it easy when you've got a really long list. I'd like to see some kind of battles, because top 10s are like, people go nuts over this stuff, and my top 10 is better than your top 10 type of thing. So to be able to like pit your idea versus someone else's, that would be really cool, and have that voted up and down via Twitter or something like that.
But the more we build this, the more we really see the gameplay element coming out. That whole head-to-head thing and the rival list, that's going to be a big part of what we develop.
And then it seems like affiliate opportunities, like to connect over to Netflix, Amazon, iTunes, et cetera, all these places where products are involved.
Yeah, so we're starting with just images, but we're going to have the ability to pull in songs, videos, all that stuff. And the affiliate stuff is ultimately the monetization model. So once we're at scale and we've got tons of content, then we're just going to enable people to buy the items.
I mean, I think the idea makes sense. I was just doing some browsing and searches. There are plenty of other top 10 services, and I guess you didn't really discuss the competitive element. I think for any service like this to win, you got to have great game mechanics, and I think a lot of the other dynamics that were just discussed also need to work. So, like, top 10 lists and lists in general are not necessarily new, so interesting idea, but you got a lot of work to do. How do you plan to deal with competitive elements? Do you guys have social game or game mechanics backgrounds? Do you have affiliate marketing or lead generation backgrounds?
And do you really think Slash is the best guitarist of all time?
Yeah, seriously, man.
Slash
like,
is
Clapton or Hendrix, fuck that.
Minus
Slash is a pretty good guitarist.
Be brave and say Jack White. Jesus.
Yeah, okay.
Back on point, sorry.
I think it needs a little bit of...
Wait. I wanted an answer for some of that.
Sorry.
What was the question?
Competition. How do you make money?
How do we make money?
Do you have any game mechanics background so other people don't beat the shit out of you?
No, we don't have game mechanics backgrounds, but the way we make money is going to be, we're going to have item pages for every item, which will contain all the reviews and votes and likes, and we'll also bring in deals, and we'll suck those in from Amazon and all the other places on the web.
Deals. All the big VCs are ready to write a check. Awesome. So, competition. So, like, how do you deal with competition?
Yeah.
Well, competition's tough. I mean, like you said, there's people out there that have done it. We don't think anyone's cracked the product yet. We think we've got the product right, and we've got new ideas which are better than anything that's out there. Also, we own the top 10 concept online. We own top10.com, we own top10.co, and we're all about top 10.
I mean, don't you think that like social platforms are more likely to be successful at this than just native web?
I don't know. I think our product is entirely focused on top 10s. And it's not just a side game for us. This is a platform that we really want to make. And actually, it is a bit about those kind of making those lists and sharing them with friends, but it's also designed to be a really useful resource. So those master lists, when we start, are going to be quite simple. There's only a few lists that contribute to them. But when we've got millions, we're going to enable people to filter those down to just their network, logins all through Facebook. So you could just see lists on, I don't know, the top 10 films from just my friends. So it becomes more and more useful the more content we have in there.
One of the things that came to mind when I was watching your presentation, which was, all right, jolly good, was that the Nielsen system of rating has sucked for about 35 years.
There? Were you just ripping on Brits? Was that what that was about?
Yeah. Has sucked for about 35 years. And what you seem to have here was a potential to gather a rating system from across the country, if not the world, on existing product as well as new product. And do you have actual plans to tap specifically into that source and then offer that to studios, publishing houses, and
Yeah, so
et cetera?
the way we've built this, we followed an API-driven development model. So before we even looked at the website, we built the API that underpins it. And it's a read-write API. So eventually people can feed their data into it, and they can extract data from it. And we see lots of really exciting opportunities with that.
Can I? Sorry. So once you get outside of something like a movie or a product, isn't the core problem in the business how to be canonical? Like, so if someone says, 5 best places to, launch, set up your booth at South by, how do you take that and become canonical about it so you can actually take different opinions and create those lists? It's easy when you're talking about movies and guitarists to figure that out,
Yeah.
How do you go past the obvious categorical commercial terms? Because that's, I think, how you get scale. So I look at something like Alltop, which is a really interesting business resource. How would Alltop be created by the crowd and thus be useful for finding sort of mavens and influencers and all the things that people use Alltop for? It's a little bit more complicated once you get into that domain. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think that's going to be a big challenge, and we just kind of want to wait and see what people do with it. We actually had built a categorization system which would make it easier for us to kind of use that data, but we've just left it completely open, and we're going to look at it carefully and see the best way to do it. But yeah, it's going to be a challenge.
I'm fielding a question, from the audience that I wanted to pose, specifically from the voice of the people.
The top 10.
Do any of your lists go to 11? That came from you. Specifically you, but yeah.
Jason.
Yes, Yossi.
I think this is a much too challenging and complicated and hard to grasp product. I think 10 elements is way too much. The fact that there were 10 commandments, you shouldn't use it as a good example because nobody is fulfilling them. I think you should move into the top binary 10. It will make life much easier.
Okay.
Awesome. David, any thoughts?
So I liked it. Simple product, easy to understand. It's something a lot of people want to do, so at least you're over those humps, And I think that to make it really valuable, though, and something that's sticky and that you'll want to SEO put the stuff. It's going to be all about the disambiguation of how do we know that this predator is the same as this predator, and how do we know that this list should be aggregated with this other list?
Yeah.
And how far have you guys actually gotten with that?
So that it's pretty. We're just matching titles at the moment, basically to do that. But we're going to need to look at it more and working out how those items are used differently, and then make assumptions.
But we kind of see it like search phrases on Google. On Google, there's no categorization. There's an infinite amount of search phrases, and people gravitate towards certain things. So we expect that the majority of top 10s will be made with a specific title.
Well, I think if you can solve the sort of master list problem, then I think it'll be a really powerful site.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
I'm surprised you guys didn't bring up Living Social. So the Living Social Top 5 app went from like 0 to like 15 million users in about 2 or 3 months. And I still think actually a lot of those users were helpful in kind of Living Social get to where it is today. Like, what are the dynamics of sort of looking at social platforms for building those top 5 lists, and what do you think an SEO play might win over social platforms?
Yeah, so we are going to build some apps for Facebook, for example. And yeah, we're actually we haven't built that many social features into it quite yet, because actually we want to tackle this master list thing first. Because the problem is if this gets tons and tons of people, and we haven't really looked at that algorithm for making the master list, we need to work out which lists are more valuable than others, otherwise you're going to end up with a mess.
More valuable based on affiliate or lead gen? Or
no, as in if someone's a real expert on action movies versus someone else who just remixes that and publishes it, right. You want the person who actually knows about that subject to contribute more to the master list. So we want to focus on that.
Actually, I want the person who's going to distribute that master list to like millions of users more than I do the original content.
Yeah,
well, should exactly. You just allow voting? So, why not just allow voting on entries on the list?
That's what we're going to build, and we're going to kind of make a hybrid thing which looks at how much the list is being shared, how much it's being viewed, how many people are liking it, and use all of that to inform the sort of popularity of it.
Let's take a final question from the grand jury. Shervin?
Hey, great presentation. I wanted to see, it's funny, Dave, I thought the same thing on Living Social in the top 5, and that might actually mean in the future you could actually do some kind of interesting deals and coupons and offers for some of those products. I also think tapping into people's behaviors on other platforms that have happened in the past and in real time is interesting. So imagine tapping into the Foursquare API and seeing all of the top, just make a list of the top check-ins for the sushi restaurants I've gone to in San Francisco. And then ranking those in rank order by which ones I think are great. That would be really interesting for me, and because you're basically tapping into people's lives and their interests in the physical sense, which means way more to me than the other areas. So.
Awesome. Let's hear it again for top 10. Wow.